Hello, Dub Talk listeners. In the winter of 2018, I set out alongside Megan, Jet, and Amon to record an episode on a show that I would later consider to be one of the greatest anime ever made, Devilman Crybaby. The episode later proved to be an even greater milestone, as in the weeks leading up to recording, I had purchased editing software for myself and intended for it to be my first editing project for the Dub Talk podcast. This decision proved to be quite the learning curve, but with the advice of the editing team, I was able to launch the episode successfully. That being said, I can't say I was 100% satisfied with the final product and had intended to return and create a cut truer to the original recording. I had drafted plans to do so time and time again, but other editing work for other episodes ended up taking priority every time. Cut to September 2021, and due to YouTube copyright claims, we were forced to make the difficult choice to delete the episode or risk losing the entire channel in the ensuing fight to keep it up. We made the right choice, and cut it loose after over 3.5 years of service. However, re-uploading it with the copyright-offending bits trimmed out wouldn't have been possible due to the episode having been edited on my previous computer. So this gave me a golden opportunity to do what I had always intended to. I still have all of the original audio files, slides, and visual gimmicks from the original cut. With my old tricks, combined with my new technical skills and know-how, I could rebuild the episode better than it was before. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode, the remastered edition of Dub Talk episode 103, Devilman Crybaby, painstakingly recreated from the original source files.
Is this thing on? Am I broadcasting to the internet? Are we good? Shut up, Jenny. Hello, Megan here from the Dub Talk podcast. Tonight we are here to talk about something important to us all. That the people next to you are probably demons from another dimension, bent on killing you all. However, we here at the Dub Talk podcast are just here to warn you about them. So here are the following signs that you may be looking for if your friend, dog, brother, mother, lover may be a demon. If they start using language and subject matter that is not suitable for all audiences, because viewers' discretion is advised. If they start spouting off random spoilers for any and all series, including the one that we're talking about tonight, your friend might be a devil. And lastly, just in case you accidentally, kill your friend or something, we here at the Dub Talk podcast are, not responsible for what everyone says, and everyone's opinion is their own. So if you accidentally kill a guy, blame the dude next to you, because he totally looks suspicious. Now, with that being said, if you want to report a demon sighting, just remember to send it to the Dub Talk Podcast Twitter at Dub Talk Podcast or our YouTube channel at Dub Talk. Now, if you excuse me, there is a very, very catchy song playing on repeat outside my window. I don't know why it keeps going on, but it's really catchy and I can't stop dancing. Cut the feed. Help. Okay, but in all seriousness, guys, we are talking about Devilman Crybaby tonight. And while we do encourage you to try to watch the show to keep up with us, the show's subject matter, visuals, and, just normal intensity is not suitable for all audiences and can cause a lot of things to happen. We do not want you pushing yourselves through the show just to keep up with us. However, if you are interested in Devilman Crybaby and you do want to check it out after, go right ahead. We did try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. No, we didn't. We talked about fucking everything. I'm a liar. Bye-bye.
Hello and welcome to Dub Talk, a show where Hellspawn with a human heart get together and talk about a recent dub or dub announcement. Today we discuss the latest anime sensation that hit Netflix earlier this month. No, it's not Kakegurui. Not yet. We're talking about Netflix's first globally original anime series from acclaimed director Masaaki Yuasa, Devilman Crybaby. A magical weekend of magfests and blizzards across the East Coast as it premiered has led to a perfect storm of memes and song covers, as far as the eye can see. So joining me on this wonderful and horrifying journey are none other than Jet.
Man, human.
Awesome. Amon.
But the real thing everybody wants to know is, what does Glenn Danzig think?
And of course we have
Roots.
Megan.
Roots of Justice. Damn it, you messed this up. Roots of Justice.
And of course we have Megan. Megan, aka Queen Era 2.
Hey, Roots. How the hell have you been keeping then?
Can I wear my shoes in here?
I don't give a shit. Face it, we all know I would be Rio in this situation. It's like, where is the lie, guys?
Okay, sorry. A plot description from Netflix. Akira Fudo learns from his best friend, Rio Asuka, that an ancient race of demons has returned to take back the world from humans. Rio tells Akira that the only way to defeat the demons is to incorporate their supernatural powers, and suggests that he unite with the demon himself. Akira succeeds in transforming into Devilman, who possesses both the powers of a demon and the soul of a human. The battle of Devilman and Akira Fudo begins.
And there was much jizz. Lots and lots of jizz.
Oh, episode 5. That poor kid's ceiling must look like a Jackson Pollock painting.
Shinji Ikari would be very proud.
And speaking of jizz, those executives at Netflix must be...
Somewhere out there, an executive named Steve is just whacking off to all of the memes and shitposting success that this show has. Because clearly, what the kids these days wanted wasn't Moe Blob Girls. It was 80s ultra-violence and sex.
Yep.
I can just imagine somebody kind of walking into into that boardroom just like, good Lord, Steve! What's that on the ceiling? Aurora Borealis? Aurora Borealis! At this time of day, at this time of year, in this part of the country, localized entirely on the ceiling of this boardroom. Yes. Can I see it? No!
No!
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. I just made a jizz joke out of steamed hams.
God damn it.
What have you done?
That's what that was. Oh.
How could you?
Oh, Lordy Christ.
Alright, so I should probably just get started and deal with our dialogue directors.
Don't
shouldn't
finish
I?
prematurely.
Oh! Alright, so in an interesting twist, we don't have a scriptwriter. A scriptwriter was just flat out not credited by Netflix, so...
That's an or rather spliced bread because that seems to happen when Alder does for whatever weird reason.
In any case, we do have 2 dialogue directors in the form of Bob Buchholz and Megan Buchholz. Now, Bob Buchholz has directed dubs such as Pokemon Origins, In This Corner of the World, Knights of Sidonia, Ajin, Blaine, Cyborg 009 vs. Devilman, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, and Digimon Adventure 02. Now, Megan Buchholz hasn't really done a lot. She is credited as the English director for a Spanish television series called Money Heist, aka La Casa de Papel. She's working with Bob Buchholz on Violet Evergarden, which will come at some point, cursing Netflix.
But not for you, because you are American. Ah, you are motherfucker.
And there's also another thing she's credited as working with Bob Buchholz on. But I'm not going to say it because of the nature in which it was revealed. It was basically a leak.
Oh, then I know what show it is now.
Yep.
All right, so let's start with Jet.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the direction? And maybe a little bit on script writing, even though we don't know who exactly it is.
Okay. Alright, so I actually have seen just about all the spliced bread dubs on Netflix that have been released so far. And generally speaking, they've just been kind of okay to me. Like, never terrible, but usually not anything to write home about in either casting or performances. But with that in mind, the more I sit on this stuff, the more I feel this is probably my favorite work from them so far. I mean, I have a couple of issues with some performances that we'll get to later, and I do kind of wish that Bob Nichols would use more actors in his dubs. I mean, I like Johnny Young Bosch and Keith Silverside as much as the next guy, but those aren't the only two voice actors in the universe. But aside from that, I felt that pretty much everyone did what they needed to, and I was extremely happy with our main leads. Script-wise, there isn't really a whole ton to say here. I watched the show with the subtitles on while I was going through it, and it's pretty much about as straight as a translation as you can really get. My only real complaint here with that is that I kind of wish the dub had a little bit more swearing. I mean, the show already pumps out massive 90s OVA vibes, so having excessive swearing would have really been a nice throwback. But for what we got, it's fine, and I don't really have any complaints.
Okay, who would like to be next?
I guess I'll go. I really enjoyed the dub. Fuck. My brain set off for a second. My brain just disconnected from my body, like many heads were disconnected from bodies in this show. I would say I'm just thinking with my penis, but I don't have that equipment. I mean, it's a really good dub. It's not something I was expecting to be as entertaining as it was. I have to agree with Jet that there's some characters in there who didn't get as good until like they were just about to leave us. I really did appreciate a lot of the cast. I would say that though, for the use of California actors, except for our main two ones, the rest of the cast seemed like a throwback to the pre, like, kind of like, I don't know, like the early Sword Art Online days of Aniplex, where it was like 5 people, or like Bleach, where like 7 people played like 5 characters. But I think that the two directors did a really good job, especially handling the subject matter in the show too, because this show is dense. Okay, legitimately, I don't think I've ever felt my stomach drop as hard over the course of an hour and a half, or like 2 hours, since I watched Dancer in the Dark.
Ooh.
And for those of you who know what Dancer in the Dark is, you will understand that sentiment. If you do not know what Dancer in the Dark is, unless you have the stomach for it, don't go watch that movie. Like, I was very, very pleasantly surprised, like I said. Hopefully that I wouldn't mind seeing this team work on other Netflix dubs, but I do have to agree with Jet in terms of the casting, like, be a little more adventurous. There's a lot of really good actors out in California, and after watching other certain dubs, a lot of them can do things you don't expect. Script writing, I felt it was fine. I felt like this is a dialogue-heavy show, so sometimes it's there. I don't know if I necessarily agree with adding more swearing and stuff or throwing back to that era, because, I mean, we referenced it as a joke in the beginning of the episode with the old Devilman OVA lines, but if you go too far in one direction, you're gonna go from, like, having a really solid script writing to being a fucking joke. And honestly, I think this show deserves to not be turned into a fucking joke writing-wise. So, but I feel like the scriptwriter did a really good job and kept me really engaged with the show.
Amon?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the dub on the whole. I feel like this is a tricky show to pull off. It's very like heady and dense, and it tries to do a lot at different points. As far as there's comedy and there's horror and there's drama, and there's a lot you can drop the ball on, and I thought they did I thought they pulled off all the hard parts and delivered some really good stuff. I would agree, like they could have a little more diversity in their casting. I'm not as familiar with some of their other works, but it does sound like they have a pool of actors they like working with, and they could probably do to sort of have that widen up a little bit. What else? As far as the script writing goes, I thought it was like a solid, if maybe not particularly standout. And I'm sort of toward. I feel like it could have used a little more swearing, but it also reminded me a lot of some UAS's other shows, like stuff like Tatami Galaxy, where it's frequently crass, but not like lots of profanity crass, if that makes any sense. It almost feels weirdly appropriate that like there's a lot of like gratuitous violence and nudity, but all the dialogue's kind of PG-13. I don't know. It worked in a weird way for me.
Okay, so while I do mostly agree with you guys in terms of the casting, I have to say, at least in terms of Devilman Crybaby, I'm actually kind of pleasantly surprised at how much they subvert your typical expectations of each of the cast members. Like, these are roles you would not expect the actors to be playing in. And that takes a lot of trust, and I have to give a lot of props to the directors and the scriptwriters and casting directors for all that. In my opinion, this is probably up. It may not be the strongest dub for Netflix, but it's definitely one of their better ones.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I mean, as somebody who was on the last Netflix dub, and I was kind of mildly disappointed with that one, so this is better than that. I know Jet and I will disagree with that there, but...
No, I can agree with you.
Oh, really? You like this better than Little Witch?
I mean, I like the dub 5, but this is a lot stronger.
Yeah, I don't think it's the strongest one they've done yet. I would still probably give that to Seven Deadly Sins. Not wow. I almost fucked that up.
You can show.
Damn you, Dave Trosco.
You can show one of these shows to your niece and
We're not going to that kind of hell.
We're going to the hell with good
hell.
gratuitous sex and violence, not bad gratuitous sex and violence. But no, Seven Deadly Sins, I would still say, is probably their strongest dub that they've put out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, but, not like Kakegurui and like Children of the Whales, like, notwithstanding, though. Granted, I also did like Fate Apocrypha, but that's for another night.
And it's interesting that you guys actually brought up the swearing, because there was actually something I kind of noticed in the later episodes. There are characters that say fuck in that show.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Like, I think Akira says like fuck you at one point to Rio.
Oh no, it's the American soldiers.
Of course.
They're out there as they're shooting up all the Devilmen and people who are claiming to be Devilmen. Like, you can actually hear them yell out, "Die, motherfuckers!"
Repent, motherfuckers!
And I'm just like, holy shit.
Watch your mouth, Roots of Justice.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a family show.
I'll get the soap.
You kiss your mother with that mouth, Roots?
You kiss your dogs with that mouth?
Hey.
I know, that was bad. You're not... Don't bring in Sandy and Minnie.
Gross. But yeah, it was one of those things that, the American soldiers are the characters that are swearing. This actually makes sense to me. Like, they use that to boost the impact of, this is mass hysteria on the last 3 episodes.
Mm.
Other than the fact that, there's a fuzzy gremlin-looking thing named Psycho Jenny who makes the 80s come back into style with her attack. Should I also mention that she has titties on her back?
What's your magic power? I make things psychedelic.
Yeah, but like, I actually want to see Netflix sell Sakura Jenny plushie dolls. We need to get on that.
All right.
Complete with a pair of accurate tits on the back.
Jerry Garcia, man.
Some old hippies watching it's like, hey, I saw this. I was listening to Dark Star in '69. Yeah, yeah.
Somewhere out there, somewhere, like Psycho Jenny is someone's waifu.
Of course she is. Look at her.
And I don't mean like her human doll thing, where I think that's probably one of my favorite lines in the show is, what's wrong with her? Oh, that's just my secretary.
No, Megan, we're not here to judge.
No. Just Rio's explanations for most things are pretty fucking great. Like, just that and when Taro hacks into Akira's profile to watch porn.
Yep.
It's the little things.
Okay, so are we gonna move on to the cast?
Yeah. Our first two cast members are basically, I guess you could call them the Greek chorus here. It's basically the rappers. And, you know, in the Japanese, you also did a very interesting thing with them. Basically hiring actual SoundCloud rappers to come in and play these characters. And they lay down some pretty sick beats.
That they didn't dub, thank Jesus.
Well, except for one, but we'll get to that here in a second. So, we're only going to go over two of them today, because I think they're basically the only two who actually had credited cast.
No, the third one did. He doesn't really speak much.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. But, these two are, Cocoon. Basically, he has the hots for a character we'll be discussing here in a second. And, he ends up paying for it. Pretty badly.
Yeah.
He's not a big fan of, the Gwen Stacy, Spider-Woman universe.
And then we also have Wom, who's basically, he kind of seemed like the second in command of the rapper troupe. He ends up getting like a big heroic moment at the end of the show, but ultimately he meets the same fate.
He gets turned into a pincushion for knives.
Yeah, spoiler to people who haven't seen the show yet, you don't want to get attached to a lot of these characters. It's a bad idea.
I did anyway. I
feel like it's obviously the point, but
yeah, it's like, you'll just regret it.
Oh, absolutely.
Also, by the way, if you didn't listen to our disclaimer, it's like, haha, this is for chumps. Yeah, we're fucking spoiling everything.
Yeah, it's all Netflix, guys.
Damn straight.
Like, it will take you 6 hours. That's a Saturday afternoon. Get cracking.
Get crackin'.
Sorry, 5 hours.
All right. So who are the actors laying down these beats?
Right. Cocoon is played by Keith Silverstein, who you would know as Koji Tanaka in Ajin Demi-Human. Cyborg 005, aka Geronimo Jr. in Cyborg 009 vs. Devilman. Hisoka in Hunter x Hunter. Robert E.O. Speedwagon in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And Gil Tesoro in One Piece Film Gold. Now, Wom, on the other hand, is played by Johnny Young Bosch. He plays Atsuji in Blame, Ichigo Kurosaki in Bleach, Orga in Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, Artemis in Sailor Moon, and Cyborg 009, aka Joshimura, in Cyborg 009 vs. Devilman. So what is your opinion on these two rappers?
Okay, I guess I'll go. So it's pretty interesting hearing Johnny and Bosch here. I definitely wouldn't rate this among his best work, but I have to admit, I was pretty entertained hearing him do a gangbanger accent, because that's definitely not the sort of thing you would associate with Mr. Love and Peace. For anyone who gets Dragon, for anyone who's seen Dragon, you should probably know what that's referencing. Anyway, I like this character a lot, and I was pretty interested to see that there was a lot more to him and his crew than, like, the show kind of first went on. But my favorite of the group is definitely Kukin here. I really liked the dynamic between him and Miki, and I felt kind of bad for him when she didn't really get his love confession, because she's batting for the other team there.
Hell yeah, lesbians!
Okay, but speaking of said love...
Spoiler alert, this show is gay. I'm sorry, Jed. I'm sorry. Please continue.
So speaking of said love confession, I really appreciate how Keith's Oversight handled that whole bit, because, like, at first the rap seemed really goofy to kind of just sitting there like, wait, what the heck is he doing? But the further along he gets in the lyrics, the more his performance kind of escalates. And by the time he finished those last couple of verses, I was almost as much as Miko was. And it's really great when actors can pull off those kinds of 180s on you, so mad props to Keith Silverstein there. And I definitely do want to get into a rap battle with him, so good on you.
I guess I'll go next. I really enjoyed both performances, actually. I like that Johnny Bosch was here, of all things, instead of as another character, because I feel like if this, I feel like in another dub, he probably would have actually been made to be Akira Fudo himself.
There's 100% an alternate universe where he is playing Akira Fudo in this show. Like,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
100%
we all know that. There's also an alternate universe where this has a 4Kids dub, and Akira's name is Albert. Albert Frankston, who turns into Deco Man, and all of the titties are rubber duckies.
You can still call him Devilman.
Oh, that's right.
You can't call the monsters demons.
They're Deco. They're
just monsters.
They're just monsters.
They've gotten away with that before.
Oh yeah, I forgot the Shaman King dub exists.
They did it a couple of times in Yu-Gi-Oh! Too, actually.
It's true. But there would be less child murder in that version.
What's the point then?
Exactly. I can't believe I'm agreeing.
I remember hearing they tried to get Abel once.
What?
Get in the robot, Sean!
Wait, whoa, Jet. What?
Yeah, apparently that happened.
Anyway, while Jet laughs himself into a coma in the corner over there. But yeah, no, I really like Johnny Bosch. I really felt for him in episode 9 when him and Miki are having kind of some moments and he becomes a human pincushion for knives. When he gives her the earring, I really was like, you're a good motherfucker, Johnny Bosch. Keith Silverstein, I really appreciated the rap. I didn't know Hisoka could lay down some sick beats. I really, really liked him. I felt kind of sad that he died kind of early in the show. I was kind of hoping for more out of him. There is, I think one of my favorite interactions is when he talks to Miki about a beast being in her room. Because, oh good Jesus, I don't know if I want to talk about it there or here. I think I'm going to save it when we talk about that Miki. But yeah, no, I really appreciated the rap. I like that out of all the raps, they did that one. Because that one was actually kind of like in the scene. There's one in the first episode that is too, but I feel like the other raps were kind of like an overture thing, so I didn't mind them not being dubbed. Granted, we all know Johnny Bosch can sing, so I'm pretty sure he can rap. So, though it would have been really weird for me because he plays Makoto in Free, and I just would have imagined like Makoto in Free rapping. So. Whatever, it would have made it a better fucking dub. Anyway, I'll pass it on to Amon because I don't really have much more to say about the two of them, other than I liked both performances.
I agree. I enjoyed both of them too. I did like they cast Johnny in this capacity. I tend to think of like what's a Johnny Young Bosch role. There's a lot of like wide-eyed innocence in there. He would, in a lazier dub, he'd be the guy you cast as Akira because he can do that in his sleep at this point. So I like the fact that he was this, sort of this sort of wannabe gangster guy who's actually like a pretty solid dude when the chips are down. Like I appreciated that. And I enjoy Keith a lot. I agree. I think. Yeah, I think leaving most of the other reps in Japanese was perfectly fine because of their way it is, but I think you needed to translate that one for it to have the same impact in the dub that it has in the Japanese. And it was also just fun for the novelty of hearing the guy who voiced Johann Liebert do a short rap about how I like you. But I'm too nervous to say that, so I'm going to rap it
to you. Johann, imagine if all of Monster was solved via rapping. I've never seen Monster, but I'm going to assume that isn't there like a scene where Johann gives a guy a thing of alcohol?
Yes.
Johann's preferred method of murder is to basically make you kill yourself because it's more fun that way. Like he's
but can you please imagine Johann giving that guy the alcohol but rapping to him is the entire explanation? I know I've just ruined Monster for like 7 people. The 7 of us old enough to remember when that had a legal license and was on Sci-Fi.
Those were the days.
Wait! It's too early. We're not supposed to get sad until like another hour in.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
What else? Yeah, no, I like them, and I also wish Kun Kun had stuck around for a while. I found this little group of characters interesting, and while I don't think they were like underutilized, I would have enjoyed if they'd showed up more on screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, they were just kind of there to provide exposition for the world.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, as I said before, they basically act as a Greek chorus for this tragic tale of 2 dudes who just decide to fight demons on a Saturday night. But, as such, if you really kind of look at the lyrics, because they finally ended up putting subtitles on them, like, I think it was sometime during the second watch through, and they're basically talking about how, this world has gone to hell in a handbasket, and this is, of course, before the demons even make themselves known. Like, drug addiction, homelessness, the endless cycle of capitalism, yada yada. And it does a really good job of setting up the world. Now, as for Keith Silverstein and Johnny Young Bosch, I really like their performances. It really I guess Keith Silverstein really doesn't have a typecast now. He's just kind of proven himself to be somebody who can just roll with it. And I really like his performance, and in particular that rap, because he's really good at beatboxing, and it's spectacular. And as for Johnny Young Bosch's Wom, I really like the fact that, as I said with the directors, a lot of the actors were kind of cast against typecast. So seeing Johnny Young Bosch as sort of a punk with a heart of gold, a little more so than like Ichigo, it was
Don't
really
bring
refreshing.
up that name in this house.
This is a One Piece family, god damn it.
In this house, and was it, but Dad, what if they ask us if we want to watch Bleach? We politely yet firmly ask them to leave. Everyone can imagine just Spaceman Hardy saying that, which is worse. Speaking of Ichigo, I know this is off topic, but I wanted to bring this up really quickly. So, Jet, remember when you showed the Ancient Magus Bride episode cast? The picture of Kubo drawing Todoroki?
Yeah.
So I showed that to Andrew, and he proceeded to lose his mind. And I wish I would have recorded it because it was so funny. He's just like, that's not even fucking Todoroki. It's just a different colored Ichigo. Anyway, back on track.
All right. Are we ready to move on to the next group?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, we sort of have the. I would kind of call him Akira's moral compass, and that's the Makimura family.
Oh god, here we go. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck!
Oh,
Sorry,
well.
Megan. We gotta do this now.
Just rip off the band-aid. Just rip it off.
So we have Mr. and Mrs. Makimura, who Akira's basically staying with. I think it was mentioned that Mr. Makimura was like a preacher from. I want to say it was America or something.
He's
like,
a foreigner because they make fun of Miki Makimura for being like half not all Japanese.
Right.
Yeah, plus he has a beard. It's like pretty obvious.
And they're Catholic.
And his name's Noel.
Oh, really? They do give him a first name.
Apparently, I'm looking around online and I
No,
see a
Lusan.
credited name.
Okay.
It might be wrong. I'm not sure.
And Mrs. Makimura just kind of, she never seems like she's really all that happy. Like you can see it in her eyes that it kind of seems like she's getting a little.
She needs a little Devilman in her marriage. She needs to come on the ceiling once in a while.
And then we got little Taro. Which, yeah, let's just rip that.
Oh,
Band-Aid
Jesus
off
fucking
now.
Christ. Oh my god. Okay. Like, so when I was watching the show, everyone was like, oh man, episode 9's gonna get you. Episode 9's gonna get you, Megan. Like, episode 9 is where everyone breaks. But no one set me up for watching a small 10-year-old boy eat a dog and cry to his mom about it. And then turn into, like, some cuttlefish-looking fucking creature. And you just see him, like, I can't, like, I want to make, the motion, like, he's got, like, this one really big eye left, and he's, like, sobbing his big little monster eye out while he, like, glubs his mom into his mouth. And then, this is what I mean by Devilman no Uta was used against me. Because, like, you hear them call his phone and his ringtone is Devilman no Uta because in this universe, the old Devilman cartoons are real.
Oh yeah, that was
Just
really
Jesus,
nice run.
Lord Christ.
Yeah, that was a really nice touch. But yeah.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh man, you're gonna get to episode 9, and I'm just like, y'all, no one motherfucking warned you about, like, Taro.
Nope.
This is your
then
warning
the,
about Taro.
And then the Americans just show up and ruin everybody's day.
That's normal.
Yeah.
So, in any case, Mr. Makimura is played by Christopher Smith, who you would know as Kite in Hunter x Hunter.
Yes.
Lem in Jormungand, Spandam in One Piece, and Rio Asuka in Cyborg 009 vs. Devilman.
Satan? Yes, Satan?
Mrs. Makimura is played by Ann Yatko. She really doesn't have a lot of anime rules to her name yet, but she has played Amanza Volchkova in ID Zero, Hiromi Shirahane in Kuromakura, and I can't talk about the third one because it was part of the aforementioned leak. And Little Taro was played by Dorothy Fawn, who you would know as... Oh god, this is gonna be a big band-aid I gotta rip off.
Just do it.
Yep, I already know.
Dorothy Fawn plays Tai's mom in Digimon. And then Marina Unami in Kuromakuro. and Tomoe Kashiwaba in the Rosen Maiden special.
Okay. I thought we were ripping off a different band-aid there.
What was the band-aid you were
Sorry.
expecting?
I was expecting to reference Karu from the Rudy Kitchen.
Ah.
Like, I don't think she was credited as Dorothy Fawn, so I wasn't gonna...
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought she played somebody else in Digimon besides Ty's mom.
Probably, but that was the thing that kind of registered for me.
Ah.
So what did you guys think of the Makimura family?
Okay, so I'm going to admit that out of all the performances in this show, it was probably Miki's mom and Taro that I was kind of the most sour on. Both kind of sound a little stiff to me, and while I can kind of get past that in Yako's case, since Miki's mom doesn't really have a whole ton to do, it was a little bit rougher with Dorothy Fawn, since, like we said before, things happened to Taro. And her little boy voice didn't really sound all that believable to me, so it kind of took me out of it a little bit. And it's kind of a shame because, like, I've heard Dorothy Fawn do better, but I wasn't really a big fan of that one. As far as Chris Smith goes, he was mostly in the background for a while in the show, so I didn't really think too much of his performance at first. But then when we got to, like, his big scene in episode 9, I was, like, really blown away by how he tackled that, because, okay, well, I guess we'll just talk about the scene of question real quick. Okay, so, like, we mentioned that, things happen with Taro, how, like, okay, so there's a point where Taro runs away with his mother, and the dad finds them just as Taro is, like, literally eating his mother. So, so you can tell
Glub,
that...
glub.
Yeah.
As kids do.
Yeah, so when the dad walks in on that, you can tell there's, like, 1,000,001 things going through his head. And Chris Smith just really nails all of that. There's like that. It's just such a massive mix of emotion, and it really kind of helped to give the scene a lot of impact where it might have otherwise felt like cheap shock value. So I really got to give it up to Chris Smith there. That was perfect, and really, really depressing.
Devilman Crybaby. Kids get it.
Welcome back, Iron-Blooded Orphans joke.
Oh.
At least nobody's calling their sister, at least nobody's having their little sister call them Oni-chan. And that joke is as dead as the Makimura family.
Oh.
Oh. No.
Are you okay? Did I? Oh shit! I did something awful, didn't I?
What have you done?
Are you okay?
Okay. I'm good.
You
Sorry.
need a minute? Okay.
Sorry, that broke me. I'm sorry.
Okay, someone can go over the covers.
I'll go. I generally enjoyed them. I thought they were solid, but did suffer a little bit that their characters didn't have as much to do as some of the other cast. I think, Christopher Smith gets his big scene at the end, where, he finds his son is now a squid eating his wife, and it's not a great time, really.
You're a kid now. You're a squid now.
I love Splatoon 3.
You can't see it, but my face is in my hands. I hope you're proud of yourself.
I had to do it.
No, it's fair. Look, if we don't laugh, how are we gonna get through this? This at some point this stops being a fun show.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
as much fun of a show exists where, like, in the first episode, someone literally goes through the movie Teeth in 5 seconds.
Yeah, right.
Vagina dentata.
All right, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's
Amon.
perfectly fine. So Christopher Smith gets a nice big, dramatic Oscar speech at the end there. It's to show off, but I thought Anne and Dorothy were fine. I think they just had less time to show off. They were much more side characters up until the very end. And even when things start going a little weird for them, like they do, they do good. They're just not. I don't think they're given as many.
A little weird.
All right, a lot weird. Look, I don't know. Look, it's Devilman. I don't know.
I ain't got to explain shit.
But I think they were solid. They had less opportunities to shine in the same way that Christopher Smith did. Yeah, but on the whole, I enjoyed them.
Yeah, I'll go through the parents really quick. I thought they were both pretty good. I'll agree with the mom not getting a lot of stuff, but I do think that when she had to give, like, the emotional moments, like, with Taro and, like, finding out and, like, running away with her son, it was good. Chris Smith gets that great speech where he's got to determine if he's gonna go take Old Yeller behind the shed. Except for Old Yeller's is now Squid's son. Yeah, but I actually disagree with Jet. I actually really like Dorothy Fawn as Taro. And while the voice sounds a little girlish, he's also 10. But just, like, she really gets a lot of the, like, really energetic little boy stuff down. But when you start to see Taro's turned into a demon, and, like, you as the audience get it before everyone else. Because you know by this point when somebody gets possessed by a demon, their appearance starts changing. And all of a sudden, Taro has these really big, like, mascara, like, raccoon eyes. And again, like, kind of the moment that gets it for me is that they're going to the grocery store. And these other women come up and start talking about how a little girl in the class was also a demon. And they took her parents away, too, because if she's a demon, what makes, like, it's kind of that, like, mob mentality and witch hunts. But the thing is that, as you see, as one person's walking up to the store, they put their dog on a chain. And it cuts away, and you see the dog is gone, and then you see the mom go to her car, and there's Taro covered in blood, and there's, like, they, like, show the dead dog of all. I was like, oh my god, that's a dead dog. And he's just like, I'm sorry, Mommy, I wanted meat. And, like, that ripped my heart out right then and there. And I was like, fuck, man. Like, fuck, Dorothy Fawn. Like, that's when my stomach started its descent.
I hope this is a lesson to you pet owners out there. Don't strap your dog around a fire hydrant.
Wait, guys. I mean,
it wasn't a fire hydrant. It was like a thing outside the store that, like, the city put up.
I mean, there was a dead dog. Wait, who would a Rocky write this show?
Oh.
At least a Rocky has the decency to put the dog off screen when it dies and not, like, mutilated.
Uh-oh, JoJo.
Is that a motherfucking JoJo's reference? Is that a motherfucking JoJo's reference? Aaron, this isn't time for a JoJo's reference. I'm sorry. It's always time for a JoJo's reference. Oh my god. Oh no. What the fuck is wrong with them? Just go watch Attack on Titan in 8 minutes or less. You'll understand. Roots, go ahead. I'm done.
Okay. I mean, really, Mrs. Makimura really doesn't do a lot. Even in her big moment where she's kind of taking Taro away to keep him safe. Like, she doesn't really get a lot of speaking lines. So, I really don't have a strong opinion one way or the other on her. I actually did like Taro. For a lot of the reasons Megan mentioned. Because he starts out the show kind of spunky. Looking through Akira's computer. First finding porn and then, like, bunch of Devilman stuff. And he gets all excited and it's really cute. And then when he starts turning into the demon, he's just kind of the scared kid. Scared and hungry kid. Scared and hungry kid who's now calamari at some cheapo Italian restaurant.
Calamari.
But yeah, I really like that Dorothy Fawn kind of had that range of emotion for Taro. And Christopher Smith, like, that scene in episode 9 where he finds Taro eating his mom. Like, that's... I felt for him. Because he really did a good job conveying that sort of shock, grief, and just about everything in between. And then the military turned him into Swiss cheese. Holy shit.
That was a good machine gun noise.
You should see what it looks like on my Audacity. Just.
I probably will, because I'm editing this.
Surprise talent. I'm our own Foley department.
Okay,
Everybody at home's probably like, how the fuck did she do that? I'm just sitting there like rolling my tongue into the back of my mouth.
okay, so we're moving on.
Yeah, so next up we have the, sort of the antagonists that show up around the middle of the show and towards the end. First of all, we have Cyrene, who's sort of played as the big bad for, like, the first half of the show.
The titty orgasm harpy.
Like, probably one of the hornier on main characters of the show. That is very
Go to Guy was
itself.
horny on main before horny on main could be introduced.
Pretty much.
And then we also have Koda, who's a track runner on a rival team of Akira's. And he basically gets possessed, I think pretty early, like from the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he sort of becomes a Devilman in the middle of a track meet. He gains his human heart, and then he just, during like episode 8 and 9, he just kind of turns on Akira. Because he's just tired of
He's a little
hiding
bitch.
And, yeah.
Just squirmy little bitch, that's why.
Yeah, you know, I'd say he's kind of a...
Yeah.
Kind of a bastard in that respect. So, Cyrene is played by Cindy Robinson, who you would know as Vivi in Code Geass. Anko Uehara in Great Teacher Onizuka. Samori Itan in Knights of Sidonia. And Paprika, aka Dr. Atsuko Chiba, in the movie Paprika. And Koda is played by Bryce Papenbrook, who you would know as Kaito in Ajin. Eren Yeager in Attack on Titan, Meliodas in Seven Deadly Sins, and Akira Fudo in Cyborg 009 vs. Devilman.
I think I found the running gag. Ha! The show has track in it too. Haha, running gag. Get it? Get it.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Dot.
Womp womp.
Alright, so I guess I'll go again. So, it was kind of interesting recognizing Bryce Papenbrook here, because while I do kind of have like mixed feelings on how Slice Bread does their casting and using a lot of the same actors a lot, one thing I do like is that whenever they cast Bryce Papenbrook, he's usually using like his deeper register, and it was really interesting the first time I heard that in Ajin because I was like, wait, that's really Bryce, and again I found myself waiting, oh wow, that's really Bryce. So that's always cool, and I kind of wish he would get to use his deeper voice more often, but it's always good when he does. And as far as Cindy Robinson goes, I like her voice a lot, so I was really happy to see her here. I really like the way she played up the situation. Going for a second, I'm going like too over the top of it, and it was just a really fun time, and I really dug it. I wouldn't say I like really felt for the character, but I did like her scene with the other guy at the end of episode 5. I thought that was like really touching in a weird sort of way. So anyway, I like both performances a lot. I don't really have any complaints here.
Queen Beryl was an orgasm harpy.
Yes, she was.
Thank you, Megan.
I had to ruin Sailor Moon for somebody. Like, Jesus.
Somewhere out there, a YouTube listener is just
crying his eyes, like, just, nah. Oh, no.
I can't get this image out of my head now.
No, because I play Fire, like, she's in my favorite Fire Emblem game, and I just ruined that for myself. If you don't know, I'm a huge slut for Fire Emblem Fates. I love Fire Emblem Fates a lot. She's Hinoka, that's why. But no, I really like Serene. I thought she was deliciously evil. I mean, this is the character who literally at one point orgasms so hard she turns herself into a harpy. And then, like, fucks Akira Fudo in the air. Like, she takes sex to a new level. And I thought she did a really good job, especially playing off the male demon that she's, like, implied to be in love with more than Amon. To which, oh yeah, by the way, Akira's possessed by a demon named Amon, everybody. And then Bryce Papenbrook was one I was like, wait a minute, that's fucking Bryce? And, like, literally the first time you really get to hear Bryce, it's when he's doing it doggy style to another guy. And that was something I never thought was gonna happen. But I really enjoyed it, because I don't usually get to hear deeper voice Bryce a lot. In fact, the first time I actually heard deeper voice Bryce in a thing, was actually because of Fire Emblem Shadows of Valencia. Because he's a character in that, and I didn't know that was him. And I was like, wait a minute, Bryce? And I looked it up, I was like, I have no memory of this place. Just insert Gandalf gif of him just looking around. But I really thought he was great. I kind of wish that the character talked more. I loved his Devilman form, by the way, that it was just this giant bull thing.
And his face is just randomly in there.
Yeah, his face, he looks like a zit.
He is his own decorative ornament.
What?
He is his own decorative ornament.
Yes, he is. But I really enjoyed both. I wouldn't say they're kind of the big standouts, but okay, Bryce kind of is, only because I'm not used to Bryce hearing Bryce do any of that, not in that position. But I'm gonna hand it over to Amon, because I think I'm good here.
Yeah, I enjoy them both a lot too. Who is it? I misplaced my notes. There they are. I thought Cindy did very, very good here. She went the whole 9 yards. This character demanded a lot in a very specific way, and Cindy was up for it. And oh boy, this is a very extreme show, so I'm impressed by it. I am impressed. I appreciate that they got actors who are willing. It's like, all right, this is what your character's doing. They're like, yeah, I can do this. That's fine. No worries. I've been in worse. With worse writing too. So yeah, I thought she did a good job of nailing the, like, sexy sexual hamminess of the character. It just brought a lot of fun to the role. She was just fun to listen to. And I agree, and I also thought Bryce did a good job. And did a lot. I thought he did well at covering the, like, range of the character, and when he's his anger and his sorrow and his childish betrayal at the end. So disappointing. I thought he was given a lot of room to show off and do stuff, and particularly like if you are more used to him being kind of Eren Yeager type characters. I think this is this is a nice contrast to that, and I thought he brought a lot to the role. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did like Cindy Robinson's Cyrene. I'm actually having trouble finding words for this one. I mean, when a lot of your dialogue is just moaning, there's a lot of direction you could go with that. So, and I did actually like her fight with Devilman. especially in the end when she's, humiliated. The other demon who has a love affair with her just kind of gives up his body. And she's like screamy the entire way, especially after she gets like the lower part of her body ripped off.
You don't need that. Well, clearly she does, because that's her favorite part of her body.
Oh. And I gotta hand it to Bryce Papenbrook as Coda. Honestly, I watched the dub of the show first, because, Netflix, this isn't like a simulcast, so... But I was really impressed to see him as Coda, because he gets to display, like, that kind of grumpiness that you see in a lot of his characters. You get a little sense of hope in, like, the middle episodes after he's kind of realized he's a Devilman. And then, he meets Miko again, who's also a Devilman. We'll get to her in a sec. And they just decide, we'll race and all that. And then he meets the bigger demons, and they're just like, hey, do you want to join us? And he's just like, sure. But I do have to say his standout moment is episode 9, where he just kind of randomly shows up as the kids are sort of accepting Akira's Devilman. And he's just like, yeah, fuck you.
Boom, bitch!
Rams him. And just kind of starts the whole thing over again. I really don't have much else to say, because they were kind of sizable characters, but they really didn't do much until their climatic fights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to make a joke, but now I can't remember it. So, yeah, let's move on. So these are the other two members of Akira's track team. Miki Makimura, who he also lives with. She sort of likes Akira, and it's kind of implied he kind of likes her back, but, then she gets dead. So, that's a thing.
Whoops.
That's the biggest understatement I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, right?
That she's dead.
And then she got dead.
Yep.
And then you also have Miko Kawamoto. She's always kind of been jealous of Miki's freakish sprinting abilities. And she ends up becoming a Devilman. And then she kind of comes to terms with the fact that, she's actually kind of in love with Miki. And then, of course, then she gets dead, as characters in Devilman are wont to do.
Mm-hmm.
She's a titty spider.
Yep.
She is a titty spider. So, in any case, Miko Kawamoto is played by Jeremy Lee, who you would know as Lucy Harphelia in Fairy Tail. Maya Mikuri in ID Zero. Sailor Venus in Sailor Moon, and Patty Thompson in Soul Eater. And Miki Makimura is played by Christina V, who you would know as Meiko Mochizuki in Digimon Adventure Tri, Kila Zoldyck in Hunter x Hunter, the Honika series in Knights of Sidonia, and Miki Makimura in Cyborg 009 vs. Devilman.
There's a running theme.
Yep. She passed the baton to herself.
Yay!
Take the baton, Akira! Take the baton. Oh, and I just made myself sad.
What have you done? No.
I just got hit with a wave of the sads.
Yep.
Okay, let's just get this out of the way right now. I'm gonna say this really quickly. Aspiring anime reviewers, If you ever make a top 10 list of the top 10 saddest anime deaths and Miki Makimura from Devilman Crybaby isn't on your list, you're fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus H. Christ. Rich described it best to me, actually, in text. I was like, I just kind of texted him back at, like, around, like, 1:30 in the morning, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, dude, holy shit. And he's like, I could have described that to you in excruciating detail, and it would still not have lessened the impact of how she dies.
If at that
and what they do to her.
There's, like, no way you could do that.
Yeah.
Just, oh god, I have a stomach ache just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, so I guess I'll go while you guys are recovering from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so anyway, I really like Christina V as Miki. As she gave the character, like, a lot of spots, kind of thought that was really great. And she got across, like, the whole, like, super empathetic personality really well. I mean, it was really easy to feel for Miki, and, I mean, at first he kind of seemed like, like this sort of ditzy, typical anime girlfriend, but, okay, but then as you kind of, like, get to know her a little bit more, you see, like, she's, like, kind of looking for, like, a lot of good reasons. She's faced with a lot of discrimination in her past, so, so she kind of uses that as a vehicle to, like, try to be nice to people, and I thought that was really cool. And I really liked her whole, like, big thing in episode 9 where she tries to give that speech to everyone about, like, just trying to reach out and be nice to other people. And the thing I really liked about that speech was, like, there's a couple of texts where you see, like, there's some people who kind of get it, and then, like, the rest of it is just, like, no, screw you. And, like, and I thought that was, like, very true to life. I thought that was a nice touch. And it definitely made her fate all the harsher. And, and as far as Miko goes, she was definitely my favorite of the show's side characters, and Jeremy Lee's performance certainly helped a lot with that. I mean, early on she sounds kind of par of the course for what you sort of expect if you've heard Jeremy Lee before. But the more you kind of learn about Miko's struggles, the more I could really buy into the role, because she really nailed a lot of those feelings of jealousy and self-doubt. And I do think she done a little bit better as normal Miko as opposed to Spider Miko, since her deeper voice can be a little hit or miss at times. But I thought she did a really great job here. I really dug the love confession at the end. I thought that was, like, really well done. And yeah, I don't really have anything else to say here. Both these ladies did a very fine job. Kudos to them.
Holy shite. I'll start with Miko. I loved Jeremy Lee as Miko, because I thought that when she was still just a regular girl hiding her, like, her feelings for Miki through, like, being jealous of her and stuff, she really got it across. And especially when she would get kind of angry at, like, other people who would, like, come and hit on her. And when she goes to a Sabbath party with Keith Silverstein, and that's how she gets turned into the titty spider. Like, literally, at one point when Miko and Miki are running away from the mob, Miki's riding on top of her, and I think she was actually holding on to the nipple spikes for, like, traction. And I really think that she kind of, like, hearing Jeremy kind of get to do, like, darker, like, older girl grunty stuff is really nice when you're really used to her being, like, when you're used to her getting, like, shit upon as Lucy or Asuna, not as much, like, Patty and other, like, strong Jeremy roles. So I really like how dissatisfied and just bored as shit she sounded when she's doing a dude in the back alley at gunpoint. Like, she's just like, oh, like, get this over with. You're the worst. I could do a better job with my hands. You're no piano man. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed her anger as the character. And that love confession scene was, like, great. It's like, I love you, right? And then just, it's like the gay Han and Leia. I love you. I know. But damn, Christina V is Miki. Holy hell. She was really, really good in the beginning, being, like, the cheerful, kind of, like, spunky, a little bit ditzy girl. And And then you get to episode 9 where she does her speech about, like, the human condition and trying to be a better person. And I'm sitting there like, give this bitch an Emmy. Like, straight up fuck you, Emilia Clarke. Give it to Christina V. Like, fuck your Game of Thrones getting an Emmy shit. Like, give it to her. Give it to Devilman. Like, I was, like, super invested. I was near tears. And that's why her performance, I think, is what made the death of Miki hit harder than anything else in the series. And I say that that's also probably why Taro hit me so hard. Is because I really enjoyed the performances and just seeing Miki get, like, just, oh god, just, I can't spoil those shots. Like, I can't spoil some of the shots in episode 9 and 10. But, like, just the fact that Christina had gotten me, her performance resonated so much with me and got me so attached to that character, like, Jesus Christ, like, oh my god. Oh, man, like, oh, I just feel, like, my stomach in a ball right now because of that. So good on you both.
I agree. Like, for a show that's like an adaptation of one of the the grand old like tits and blood anime, and to a large extent is merely an elevation of a tits and blood anime. There's a lot of good acting going on in here. And these two are fine examples of that. I thought Miko was the fascinating character, and I think Charmy Lee helped solidify that for me. She has to do a lot in the show. Her character goes through quite an arc. And I think she nails all the tones that she has to. From the beginning when she's just, jealous high school girl, right up to that big speech at the end where she's yelling at that mob. 'Cause, answer me, damn it. And same thing with Christina, like, she has to hit a lot of notes in this show. And I thought she did just a wonderful job, particularly, like, she again has to start out as, like, what seems like a fairly simple character, and it just grows and grows as it goes on, and just, yeah, I'm amazed. Like, this is some fine acting. Hot damn.
Yeah. Yeah, Chermy as Miko, I'm really impressed with it, because like you said, the character really goes through an arc. The character itself was kind of boring for the first, like, couple episodes, and then Kukun confesses to her, she goes to the Sabbath, and then she becomes, she becomes Spider Miko. And then she's arrogant, she's brash, kind of grumpy. And then she starts wandering the streets. She, I think it was Megan who brought up the scene where she's having sex with a dude and she's just, like, bored out of her mind. And then she smashes his head in.
And that's, by the way, how I learned the other guy died.
Oh, yeah, because,
you see, like,
severed hand.
Yeah.
You see the hand.
Because, his rap talks about, oh, I have the word butterfly tattooed on my hands, and then, like, as that scene's going on, you just see the severed hand with the word fly tattooed on it. And you're just like, oh, she probably ate him.
Now I'm sad again.
Yes.
Oh well.
And, oh dear God, Christina V's arc as Miki. Because, she's got to go through the bubbly phase at first, and then she sort of gets a little stoic when she finds out, oh, Akira's Devilman. She protects him against Wom, who kind of has a gun drawn on him. And then she does that monologue with the blog post. And, just her yelling, "Take the baton, Akira," right as she's running away from the people who are about to kill her. God.
Fuck.
Like, episode 9 tore my heart out just kind of showed it to me as I'm just this lifeless stump, and then just kind of throws it in the trash.
And then it sets the trash on fire by showing you this happy image of just Miki on the motorcycle with Akira. With this beautiful song there. And you're just like, fuck.
You guys ready to have, like, a not fun time? I actually found out what the lyrics of the song were about.
Uh-huh.
It's a guy trying to confess to a girl at what he thinks is going to be the last moment he's going to be able to see her. Yeah.
The show has too many emotions for something with the phrase "Devilman" in the title. This is unfair.
Yeah.
A show with too many emotions, where literally one of the characters is a titty spider.
Yeah, like.
Okay, yeah, and
a man comes on his
a
own
woman's
ceiling.
boobs bite a guy's head off.
okay, and speaking of old scratch there, I guess it's time to get to the big one.
Oh yes,
Hail
Rio Asuka.
Satan!
Like,
Hail Satan!
the guy who just randomly shows up. Oh, hi, Akira. Hey, you want to go help me kill demons? Do you want to come into my flashy sports car? We're gonna go to a party. We're gonna summon demons, and then we're gonna kill them. You want to come?
Yeah. So before we get into anything else, can I just appreciate how, like, that scene where he's, like, looking at the Book of Revelation, he's, like, smack dab in the middle of the Bible.
Look, they're in Japan. They don't know how the Bible's laid out.
He had that prepared just to look like a badass. And then, like, also, can we talk about the fact that, like, people are gonna start, like, I swear to God, when three-fourths of us go to AB, we're just gonna play a game. It's how many Devilman cosplayers are we gonna see?
Oh God, there's gonna be so many.
I know
Jesus.
people who are, like, wanting to cosplay Rio already, and Rio wears a $1,000 jacket.
Oh no!
And whips out an AK-47, and, like, didn't the maker of the jacket make, like, a discount version that was, like, still $500 or something?
Oh no, Megan! The original coat was not $1,000.
Oh, it was
It was
10,000.
$10,000.
My bad.
See, what I'm looking forward to is the long, long line of Akira cosplayers who have to get their fake AK-47 checked at the Heinz or the whatever the convention center's called.
It's the Heinz.
The Heinz. That'll be fun. Oh.
So in any case, Rio Asuka is basically Akira's right-hand man, his information gatherer. Oh yeah, and it turns out he's Satan. Like I'm not making this as a metaphor. Like,
No, he's actually Satan.
Like actual fallen angel Satan.
With titties.
Like,
Yes.
he rebels against God. God banishes him to the cold vastness of space. He stumbles on Earth, which have these strange creatures that merge with each other in order to gain power. And he just kind of sympathizes with them, and then he decides to use them to turn against God. That's his entire master plan right there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So in any case, Rio Asuka is played by Kyle McCarley, who you would know as Killy in Blame, Shinji Mato in Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, Shigeo, aka Mob Kageyama in Mob Psycho 100. Oh, and Cyborg 0014, aka Edward, in Cyborg 009 vs. Devilman.
Da-da-da-da.
You thought it was over. You were wrong.
It was me, Rio.
No. No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so I guess I'll go first again. Right, so ever since I heard Kyle McCarthy's album 2 years ago, I think it was, 2 years ago, whatever, it's hard to keep track of this stuff. Anyway, ever since I first heard him in Durama, I've been continually impressed with his work and with each new thing he's done, because he's been able to demonstrate more and more of how wide his character range is. And while this isn't my first time seeing him play the villain, since I watched most of the Unlimited Blade Works stuff, and he was definitely a rider, Shinji, you really gotta hear that. But where that was like really over the top and hammy, here he plays Rio kind of like emotionless. Like he sounds very charismatic, and it's easy to understand why like people would fall for his schemes and why like Akira would be so drawn to him. But there's always a sense of distance between himself and the world around him that really plays into his supposed lack of empathy. And Kyle McCarthy tackles all of that really well. Having said that, though, my favorite moments with him were definitely where he like started going bonkers in episode 8. That was really fun. And then, of course, that final scene of the show. The one thing I really appreciate about how he handled that final scene was that rather than going for like some really big emotional breakdown that sounded like really dramatic and all that, instead of just like playing like really softly, just as if like something in him just kind of like finally cracked, it really helped the song out of that conclusion, even if I wasn't the biggest fan of it. So kudos to you, Kyle McCarley. That was a really great performance.
I'll go next, and I agree. Like I don't know. I'm having trouble putting this into words. Like he had a role. Like his role was not unflashy per se. But it didn't feel kind of like it didn't have a lot. It didn't feel like it had a lot of the obvious markers of like, oh, this is good acting built into it. But I enjoyed how he was good at like kind of the more quieter, like I'm going to explain this to you, Akira, because you don't know what's going on yet. And then he could also
You're an idiot.
yeah,
Because you're an idiot, Akira.
because you don't know anything, Akira. Don't pay attention. He was good at that. He was also good at like amping it up when Akira gets a little more bloodthirsty or is trying to rally humans and just murdering each other like you do. And he really nailed that final scene, which feels like any lesser dub, that's the scene you misstep on and it kind of spoils the whole thing. But I thought he played it just right, and he was just a delight to listen to the whole way through.
Oh boy. So for a really long time listening to this, I don't know how I felt about Kyle McCarley as Rio, because I felt like maybe this was a little flat, but no, it's not flat, because Rio doesn't really show a lot of outward emotion and is very reserved and is a murderous little shitbag who doesn't ever let the business persona down. But at the same time, it's like, is this good acting? Is it not good acting? I don't know. Tune into the next episode of Devilman. No, Netflix, I don't want to skip the opening, you assholes. But like, I think when it finally all clicked into place at 2 in the goddamn morning is when Satan realized he fucked up. Where he's just like giving his little speech, like, honestly, like, this is gonna sound really weird for people who've not watched the show, but it sounded like pillow talk. I
mean,
look at that
like,
framing.
you're not wrong.
I mean, like, legitimately, it sounded like they just got done having sex. Akira has come on the ceiling, and I'm pretty sure he could have come in the sky by that point. But like, and then he just leans over and he goes, Akira, why are you not? Oh, fuck. And there's just Akira's missing the goods. And that was kind of, for me, the moment that really was like, yeah, Kyle McCarley really did get this character the whole time. And I'm an idiot and wrong, and this is why I'm not a voice actor. This is why I'm not a voice actor or a voice director. I'm just some futz that talks shit on the internet. But God, like, it was really good, and it's not something I expected, because I'm not super familiar with Kyle McCarley. Like, I'm not really a big fan of Mob Psycho. I watched maybe like a couple episodes, and I've been meaning to go back and try it again for the sake of just giving it another shot, because I'm not a really big fan of One's work, by the way. Like, I think One Punch Man is overrated, and just never really got into it. And I don't watch Mech, so I haven't watched Iron Blooded Orphans. So I really don't think I've watched any, and I never watched Durara, really, and I've never seen Fate fucking fate besides Apocrypha. Don't worry, we're fixing that, kids. So if this was my introduction to Kyle McCarley as an actor, I would be like, yeah, this guy's really good, and why aren't you fucking casting him in more shit? So, there's that.
Oh, it's my turn now, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Kyle McCarley as Rio. Like, dear God. I'm actually gonna come clean about something. He is already, like, this show came out 5 days into 2018. Technically, like, a month and 5 days into eligibility for it. He is already pretty far in the running for Golden Ham for the 2018 W's. Like, I came to appreciate his kind of cold demeanor from, I think it was like episode 2, where I'm just like, oh, hey, I see what they're doing here. He's detached from the world. I can dance to this jam. So, you kind of start to learn a little bit more about Rio, and then, oh, hey. And I just love how nonchalantly during episode 10, he's just like, oh yeah, hey, I'm Satan.
Yeah, like, legitimately, he just, it's like, oh, you're here. He's like, what did you do, Rio? Oh yeah, by the way, Akira. Bing! I'm Satan.
I love the line earlier before that is this into the doctor saying, like, wait, you're human, aren't you? Like, nope.
Bing!
Like,
Also, I would like to point out that when they're, like, flying, him and Psycho Jenny are, like, flying through the air, Satan literally has, like, Bishi sparkles going everywhere.
Yep.
But, to be fair, he actually did think he was human for, like, I think up until, like, episode 9, 8 or 9.
Yeah.
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 He's just, like, under the impression he's human. And then, oh, yeah, the demons have been kind of orchestrating things from behind the scenes. Like they do.
Because they're demons.
Like, zoink, Scoob, it's Satan.
Like Zoink, Scoop, run, it's Satan.
Coming 2019, the Devilman Scooby-Doo crossover hour.
Oh,
Mark
You
your
know-
calendars now.
And the run cycle.
I forgot about the run cycle.
Animation. Like somebody actually synced it up to the sound effect of Scooby-Doo running.
And it works so well. It's like, R.I.P. Naruto Run 2000 whatever to 2018, replaced with Devilman Run. I will laugh my ass off if I watch some kid eat it at a con trying to do the Devilman Run.
Sometimes life is good.
I feel bad for the hotel's insurance when some poor kid knocks out a front tooth.
Oh.
All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth. My two front teeth. My two front teeth. Whack!
I'm seeing an anime Boston in the future where, much like how Magfest has those, some people put up those no Colossus yell signs. I'm just seeing signs that say no Devilman Run. Exactly.
Okay.
Now that we've derailed everything.
Yeah, I gotta digress back. To Rio, basically, after he becomes Satan, and he's just like this glorious ham. Like,
I mean, is it bad that, like, when I watched the show and I was like, you know what? If they ever wanted to go back and make, like, a Chibi Berserk spinoff, I would totally. If they had to, like, somehow recast Griffith again, I'm, like, completely okay with Kyle McCarley being Griffith.
Oh hey, and there's a Gonagai Chibi series.
That there is.
Please let Kyle McCarley play Rio in the Go to Guy Chibi series.
Like, I think it's from, like, the 80s, so I don't know if it'll ever get a dub if it hasn't already.
Stranger things have happened.
You know, not Netflix.
This is true.
Insert Stranger Things music here.
All right.
You have the money, Netflix.
You
Do
can
it.
do it.
But I
Could
gotta
you also Devilman Chibi thing? That would be amazing.
So yeah, Kyle McCarley is a ham. Like, I don't know if I can find anybody else who would be able to take the golden ham from him. Like, I just don't know. So this is just like Haka all over again, where since this episode is going to be coming out after the dubbies, I can probably talk about it. My first draft of my dubbies was pretty much Aka everywhere. Like, every single category, I'm just like, I gotta put somebody from Aka in here.
To be fair, that was also me.
And then, at the end of December, pretty much a day or two before the deadline, I'm just like, okay, you know what? I gotta pull a lot of these out and replace them with other dubs from the year. This isn't fair. And I feel like Devilman Crybaby is just gonna be one of those lopsided dubs. But I'll have more thoughts about that toward the end. But Kyle McCarley is one of my favorite performances of the show. Let me just put that out right there. And with that, I think we can move on to our final character.
Yep.
Akira Fudo.
Yes, Akira Fudo. Basically, the human embodiment of whippy, 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 hefty, hefty, hefty.
I listened. I think my favorite
how
one
dare you
was
bring that into this house?
Get out. No, my favorite one was a picture of him as the skinny Akira and then like the chunky Akira, and somebody goes, "I listened to The Cure once." Devilman shitposts are kind of the fucking best.
Oh, it's magical.
Let me see if I think it might be in the group chat, Amon, so I might resend it to you if I can find it.
I saw that one. That was very good.
Also, remember, I hate this one the most. Remember Carcat from Homestuck? This is him now. Feel old. I was like, God damn it. It's like, why'd you have to bring Homestuck into this?
Because it's the internet.
I mean, I was too old for Homestuck. But, so Akira basically got possessed by the spirit of Amon, becomes Devilman, and, as luck would have it, hey, his human heart's still intact. Who'da thunk it? Apparently Rio.
Yep.
So he just goes around killing the problematic demons, and then later basically trying to save the souls of the Devilmen and the souls of humanity from itself. And in this adaptation, Devilman Crybaby, Akira Fudo is played by Griffin Burns, whom you would have probably heard as Jinta, aka Jintan Yadomi from Anohana.
I'm not ready yet.
Shulnark from Hunter x Hunter. Jundai Kayahara and Kuromakuro. And Cyborg 0018, aka Seth, in Cyborg 009 vs. Devilman.
Da-da-da-da! We did it, fam! So wait, what you're saying is basically everybody in the cast was in Devilman vs. Cyborg.
A couple people weren't, but it was basically like everybody.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's Cyborg 009 versus Devilman. You have 9 cyborgs default, and then you have more beyond that.
This is true.
Lord.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that was actually Cyborg 009 versus Devilman. It's not great, but it is kind of fun. And the dub is actually pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the sort of like super 80s OVHs.
Yeah. But in any case, let us get to our thoughts about Devilman Crybaby and Akira Fudo.
Okay. Alright, so I'll admit that when I first heard the trailer for the dub and I recognized him as Akira, I was a little bit surprised with the casting choice. Mostly because the same playing Akira in the Japanese version of the show is none other than Koji Uchiyama. And if you've ever heard Koji Uchiyama, you know his teen boy voice is actually pretty deep. So going for someone with a voice as soft as Griffin Burns is kind of a really big 180 there. But having said that, I think it actually works really well for the kind of character Akira actually is. Because while Akira certainly looks swole and intimidating, he is actually a very empathetic and emotional person, and Griffin Burns plays that really well. And, since Akira always kind of feels like he wears his heart on his sleeve, and that just makes every bad thing that happens to him all the more painful. His moments in episode 9 in particular were really gut-wrenching, and when he finally started to snap after he saw what happened to Miki, you really fell for him. So, I mean, it's always nice when an odd casting choice pays off really well, so I'm very happy with Griffin Burns here, and I really hope this will be his last big role.
As somebody who only knows Griffin Burns from Anohana, so when I finished that show, my reaction was to call Andrew and just be like, well, fuck. And when I finished this show, my reaction was to call Andrew and go, well, fuck. So thanks, Griffin Burns. I think he did well as both the human version of the fish from Lou Over the Wall, and as buff, muscular Akira. Oh, come on, he looks like the fish from Lou Over the Wall.
I mean, now that you've pointed it out, you're not wrong.
I mean, they even call him a mermaid.
Damn it.
Dang it.
Anyway, I really fucking loved it. Like, his Akira was like no other action kind of protagonist voice that I've heard. And it was a lot, in some ways it's not like a lot that I've heard. And it's also reminding me of one other thing. And it has a lot of the same qualities that I like about Justin Briner's Deku. In that it's not a actor who is like deep and like, hey guys, I'm Ichigo Kurosaki, or hey guys, I'm okay, wait, no, or like screechy, like kind of like Naruto is, though granted, or like Sasuke level. Like, I really enjoyed that they went for a voice and a performance that, even though Akira was like a bigger kind of like muscular dude, he wasn't like, he didn't look like Armstrong when he buffed up. He was kind of like, I can't believe I'm about to say this word. He's a twunk. He's a twunk. He goes from twink to twunk, if you know what I'm saying. I can't believe that I'm using that as a description. And I have a degree. I went to college. I have a bachelor's degrees in humanities, and this is what I'm doing it for, describing Akira Fudo as a twunk. I have student loan debts. What is my life becoming?
Such is the destructive power of anime. I'm sorry, my cat crawled into my lap and he's being a nuisance.
It's okay, Mr. Cricket.
I mean, he's an adorable nuisance, but he is knocking into things.
No, let Mr. Cricket stay. He's a good boy.
That's true.
But yeah, like, Griffin Burns does a good twunk voice. like, I'm sorry, it's the only way I can think to describe it is a twunk. He's like a thick twink. Like, he goes from, like... And, like, when he screamed, like, he just... This is the Thomas the Tank Engine thing all over again. He just, like, what, but you know what I mean? He does the good quality of being, like, the big action hero without having to, like, sound like his balls dropped to, like, and went through the earth into China. Like, and I really like that when he's, like, the big, burly Devilman thing, he's like, I am Devilman! And, like, he just is such a little dork.
Oh, yeah.
He's a dork that was given a bigger body, and he does it just for being a good person, and I really appreciate that. And it had a lot of the qualities that I really like in, like, Justin Brenner's performance as Deku, but with ultra sex and violence, and I still can't believe I described him as a fucking twunk. Somebody take over.
I'll take over. I agree. I liked a lot of...
That he's a twunk?
I agree that it was... I mean, you're not wrong, but I mostly agree that he was good. One of the things I appreciate about it is that I've been reading a little bit of one of those sort of remake Devilman series that Seven Seas translated late last year. And an interesting thing I found is that in there, when Akira turns into when he becomes Devilman, he gets a lot more like kind of, aggressive to everybody when he's a human. And I found it interesting that here, even though he's like a little more intimidating and so on, he's still basically the same dude. He's just bigger now. And I liked what Griffin. I like how he maintained that. I like how even though he's a little more rough and tough, it's like, yeah, this is still the same guy who doesn't like seeing his friends get hassled and cries at the drop of a hat because he's so empathetic to everybody.
So sad.
He's just so, it's like you were sad. No, don't be. No, you were sad. Your friend died. And
Akira Fudo is the guy who cries over cat videos.
You're crying too.
Yeah, exactly. And I appreciated that. I thought that was an interesting choice on the show, and I appreciated that he kept that in the character. Like, he could have very easily been much more like we were saying he's not, and I like that he keeps a lot of that empathy in the character, which I think is so important. And I think that's very important to what makes the show work. And I like that they kept with that decision. It's like, yeah, no, he's like a big muscular demon, but he's still a big softie, really. Like, he just wants everyone to get along. Stop hurting people. Come on. Be nice. Yeah. Roots?
Yeah, I just love the fact that for only the first episode he's this adorable little shrimp. And
he's the fish from Lou Over the Wall.
And that's not the comparison I'm about to go for. Who here has seen, oh god, what's it called? The show with the guy who likes Swedish pop becoming the who's secretly the
Detroit Metal City or whatever
Detroit
it's called.
Metal City.
Well, you're not wrong.
Where he's just like this sweet kid who I imagine listens to pop music, and then all of a sudden you take him to a party once. Just once. And suddenly he's kind of a dick with a heart of gold.
He also came on the ceiling.
Yep.
Akira, why does it smell like a sack of biscuit dough and pennies up here? Don't worry, Taro, that's just the Northern Lights.
God damn it. I need to find that Daily Show thing from the last couple days about the Pornhub use in the last couple during the Hawaii.
One of the great charts in the history of charts. That there.
Okay.
I need to find the actual thing because it's just fucking hysterical.
Alright, I'm sorry, I gotta finish this up. So Akira, basically episode 2, he's just this biggest asshole because he's trying to get Amon under control so that he can just, continue being Akira. And then over the course of episodes 3 through probably right until the shit hits the fan, he's basically just this lovable goof. He's, pool party with Rio.
Yeah, oh god, that was my favorite thing. He's like, come on, Rio, let's use your pool. Whee!
And he jumps in the pool and he just kind of teabags Rio on his way down.
I can't believe Rio died in episode 3. Also, by the way, I found it. Pornhub's traffic in Hawaii dropped to 77% during the nuclear scare. That meant 23% kept watching. They were like, well, I'm going to go out doing what I love. What do you say, Jim Sock? One last ride. And that's Akira Fudo. And while he's trying to get control of Amon. What do you say, Jim Sock? One last ride. It's one of Miki's Gym Socks.
Oh no.
Gross. Alright, okay. Oh, and you know what? There's actually a third state of Akira, basically when he transforms. And it's not like Griffin Burns is just trying to roar out all of his lines as Devilman. There's more of a growl to the back of his voice, but it's still for the most part him. Like it's not like the OVA where they just kind of overlay a bunch of just like a bunch of a guy shouting in a trash can over the back of him. Because like that's basically how you get like. Have any of you watched like the bonus features of like The Lion King?
Oh, where Frank Welker's growling into a trash can to be the lion roars?
Yeah.
No, that's a real thing.
Oh, I believe it.
And like, holy shit, it sounds like really real. But yeah, the dub clips of the OVA where he's just like, "Oh, I'm Devilman." It just sounds so hokey, but. I'm happy to report here that Griffin Burns' Devilman is not that.
Yes, it's definitely not.
And oh god, and basically the end of the emotional arc at the end of episode 10 and the start of episode the end of episode 9 and the start of episode 10. Where he's just kind of lost everything, and he goes to confront Rio. Like, that is some real emotional stuff. And you know what? He's actually a front runner for best drama actor for the Dubbies this year as well.
Mm-hmm.
Along with Christina V for actress drama, but yeah. And those are my opinions. So, do you think it's time for final thoughts?
Yep.
Let's do this.
Alright. Okay, so I'm probably gonna go a little long-winded here, but bear with me. Okay, so I watch a lot of anime, as you can probably tell. And as such, stuff can kind of blur together after a while, and even shows I like can kind of fade out of memory after a while, you know, like after a new season of anime comes out, and then you sort of forget about what came before. But anyway, this show is one of those rare exceptions, because it's been 3 weeks since I first plowed through it, and there are sort of like random moments of the day where I might find myself getting lost in thought about it. And when a show leaves that kind of impact on you, it's a pretty remarkable thing. And when it comes to as surreal a package existed, it can kind of just cease to be disposable entertainment and become something more. It becomes art. And I mean, like all art, this certainly has its flaws, and like the general philosophy of the ending isn't something I can personally agree with as an optimist. But it's so well crafted that I'm really just so willing to embrace a lot of those flaws. And it's really rare to be able to say that about any kind of media, honestly. I mean, I'm not sure if this is going to end up as one of my personal favorites, but it's definitely a work I have a ton of respect for, and I'm really glad it got a dub that's generally worth it for its time. Since there's a lot of similar works that you can't really say that about, looking at you, Hannah. Anyway, this is not an easy show to watch, and it's not something I would really recommend sitting through if it makes you feel uncomfortable, but speaking personally, I'm really glad I saw this through to the end, and it was definitely an experience I do not regret.
Guess I'll go next. Holy shit. Like, I was like, hey, I saw all these people making, like, shit posts and stuff about it on Twitter, so I was like, you know what, I'll watch the show, and Roots and I had been kind of talking, and It was because of Roots I had watched my first Yuasa show last year, which was Ping Pong the Animation, which, while I really think that this dub is really good, Ping Pong the Animation still stands as the gold standard of how to dub a Yuasa show. This is second place in that pantheon of, hey, we're going to dub Yuasa, and this is how it's going to go. I completely stand with what Jet said. This is not a show I'm going to recommend to most people I know who watch anime. Like, this is not a show I can say, like, hey guys, there's this new anime thing on Netflix, you should go check it out. This isn't like Seven Deadly Sins or like Little Witch Academia or like even probably Children of the Whales, which I'm going to assume is not like this. Like, this is a show that I could see like people who I went to college with sitting with, because we were film studies majors. Like, even when I signed up to this episode, I said, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do Devilman Crybaby with you. Roots was like, are you sure that I was going to be okay with watching it? Because I had such a problem with stuff like Monmusu and Seven Deadly Sin. Seven mortal sins. Because that show, and this is kind of a way to, I think that some of you guys can kind of get to know me a little bit better. I am not against sex and violence being used for stuff like it is in Devilman Crybaby, where it's not as much used for just titillation, where it's also used as like story motivation, where it's used to express character mindset, where it's used to it's not just gratuitous for the sake of being gratuitous. And even though this is like stuff that we owe a lot of gratuitous, dark, and violence stuff too, thanks Go Nagai, I don't feel like this is a tasteless show. And honestly, like I said, this is probably some of the media that's hit me the hardest since I've watched things like Dancer in the Dark, or or like maybe even like if I'm going back to older cinema, like the feeling I got like the first time I watched Rashomon, or the first time I watched The Bicycle Thieves. I was blown away. This is probably this is a show like, if you're gonna like talk about anime and like be really like academically about it, you've got to sit and like, I will like, as an academic thing, I would say like, go fucking watch this. The dub is really, really fucking good. It's a contender for probably one of the best dubs of 2017 already. It really was a good step forward from Netflix. While Netflix in terms of the simulcast game is being really fucking stupid still, if this is how their original works are gonna go, keep it up at this level.
Yeah, I enjoyed this dub a lot. I thought it was good, and I appreciate it is made, in addition to just being on Netflix, I feel this has helped make the show more accessible. I'm not sure how accessible a show like this is. Much like Megan, I would probably recommend this less to some of my friends who watch anime, and more, say, my friend John, who watches a little bit of anime, but is 100% my cohort in watching extreme art house madness that most people have no interest in. But even then, like, this feels like something that's going to get talked about for a long time, as just like something that's interesting and challenging, and I think importantly got seen by a lot of people, which I feel like shows like this often don't get to. Sometimes they end up being kind of a little obscure. And I like that this was so challenging, and that this got to have such an accessible medium, and that it's on this streaming service a lot of people use, and it got a good, and not just an English dub, but like a really good one you can actually like listen to. So if you want to recommend this to people, it's like, yes, no, if you're not into subtitles, you can watch this in English, and it'll still be a good experience. I used to appreciate that. I like it when challenging material is made, like, you as the audience have to work just a little bit less to get into it. I appreciate that. Roots?
All right. Yeah. I'm really glad this was, because this is actually like the flagship completely original Netflix anime. I mean, they didn't like produce it, but it's the first thing you can only get on Netflix anywhere in the world. And honestly, I don't even think they could have gotten away with some of the stuff they were able to if this were theatrical movies released in Japan.
Oh yeah, definitely
No.
not. Definitely not.
This needed something like Netflix to exist on in order to exist the way it is.
Yeah.
That's very crucial.
But I'm really glad this was something that ended up getting made. I really have trepidations recommending it to people unless, you're already a fan of Yuasa's, you're more of an art house type, or you grew up in the era of the ultra-violent grindhouse OVAs. And like Amon said, I am really glad this was given another point of access via dub. Because I haven't actually turned around to watch the sub version yet. But I'm honestly just really glad this is something people who might scoff at subtitles would be able to watch if they really wanted to. And, the most profitable streaming service in the world is carrying this. Like, it is in millions of homes in the US alone, not to mention everywhere else in the world that Netflix serves. So, I mean, I'm kind of nervous at that fact because, kids might get to this the same way someone like me kind of pushed the ultra-violent OVA VHS tapes into my parents' hands without, showing them the box cover at a video rental store. Like, oh, hey, Lily Cat. This looks like a charming film for children.
It was
sure,
not.
I will rent this movie for you. Ron Howard narration. It was not.
It was not.
But yeah, I mean, other than, impressionable kids getting a hold of it and not knowing what to do with the subject material that they see, I think this getting into being accessible to millions of homes across the US and across the globe is probably one of the greatest gifts Netflix has bestowed upon the anime community so far.
But not Violet Evergarden, because they are motherfuckers.
It's okay.
US, Spain, and Australia, the only 3 countries Netflix serves that doesn't get Violet Evergarden.
It's okay. We'll get to coming out someday.
We'll get it eventually.
Someday. But
now that you said that Australia doesn't have the Violet Evergarden, you know what I imagined?
What?
Have you ever seen that one episode of The Fairly Odd Parents where they keep going into the internet? And Crocker comes out in, Australia, and the girl's like, it's a computer virus! And she picks up a boomerang and throws it at the computer, and she's, sitting in a kangaroo's pouch, and that's their version of Australia. And that's what I imagined. Oh, fuck you, Netflix, you buggers! Somewhere Steve is sitting in his office looking at his Aurora Borealis, and he gets a boomerang.
He's named it now, has he?
But,
Alright, my Akira Fudo, let it rip.
In terms of the actual dub itself, this is a very, in and of itself, not just the 3 characters I mentioned being strong contenders for dubbies, the show itself. And again, this is 5 days into the year. We are only, as of recording, we only have access to, 3 of Funimation's winter simuldubs so far, maybe 4.
They're pretty good, but they're not, Devilman good as of yet.
Yeah. But, we'll be getting to, some or most of those here right quick. But, I'm just really glad this is a thing that we're talking about right now. Because I really like talking about Yuasa shows. And I wish I could talk about more of them. Hopefully more get made, more get dubbed.
Hey,
Or get from
anytime,
Funimation.
anytime you want to release that Tommy Galaxy, Funimation will be waiting.
Dub to Tommy Galaxy, you cowards.
Just
Don't worry, we're gonna get to talk about Lou Over the Wall later this year. Hopefully.
That's true.
Yeah. So I guess if you want to watch Devilman Crybaby, it's on Netflix. Odds are good you're already subscribed to it. I actually don't know what the price point is per month nowadays.
I don't know. It's just bundled into my cable now, apparently.
It's bundled into a...
Yeah, at this point, that's one of the things you don't even think about.
Like, it's bundled into a lot of cable packages. It's bundled into phone plans.
I mean, look, at this point, if you don't have access to a Netflix description directly, there's a good chance you know someone who does anyways. Like, I think you can manage.
Like, you know that one cool guy who will give you his Netflix password.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Just how, like, I'm the cool person on Dub Talk who will give everybody access to her Amazon Prime account.
So with that, I believe this episode is done.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I can't believe we did this.
Yeah, this is wonderful. So why don't you guys basically go around and tell us where we can find you? Basically on the onlines.
Okay, so as always, you can find me on Twitter at Terror's Infinity. You'll usually find me raving about cartoons for some weird reason. You can also find me on my blog at Animation Infinity, where I occasionally write things. And also, occasionally I write things for fandom posts, so I'm not doing anything this season. And, yeah. Good times.
You can find me over at QueenEra2 on the Twitter. My job is to make shit posts, and be a general piece of shit. I'm also a moderator at the Funimation Discord as well. Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at Amon Duel US. Duel has 2 U's in it, where I mostly talk about music or movie I saw recently and retweet a lot of amusing stuff that I find. You can also go to my very infrequently updated blog, The World That's Coming, at worldthat'scoming.blogspot.com. And I'd like to take a second to plug something for you. Later this year, Seven Seas is going to start putting out the original Devilman manga in English, which I encourage you all to go out and buy, mostly because I had written off a lot of those old Go Nagai manga as stuff that will never see the light of day in an official English translation. And I'm both amazed that it exists and that Seven Seas is putting it out, which continues to astonish me. So I'd recommend go support that, because I like all this old manga they're putting out, and I'd like them to keep doing it.
Absolutely.
Give us a dusty old song for today.
Oh, what's a good one? What's a good one for Devilman? What's evil? So if you know your songs, you've probably heard this one already, but you should go on to your preferred music streaming site and listen to 666, The Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden, which feels like a suitably metal song for this show. Go listen to it. It's good for you.
And you can find me on the Twitters at Roots of Justice, where I basically, I kind of put the tinfoil hat away for now, but I still repost cute animal pics, mostly pugs. Pugs are good. Pugs are love. Pugs are life. And occasionally I'm funny, so, there's that too. And eventually I'm gonna get that blog I keep talking about up and running. And now that I have editing software, I kind of want to actually make use of my YouTube page. Stay tuned for details.
Woohoo!
Roots, I know what you're talking about. You're very funny. I think you're very funny.
We love you, Roots of Justice.
So with that, I believe this episode is a wrap. So from us at Dub Talk, I would like to wish you a good day. Keep it manly. And otaku ande daba.
Da 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 da.